Welcome again to the channel, and as my name is Bususo Khadebe, also known as Spencer, and we'll be talking about continuing on our personal branding journey. This week, I'm very excited with the topic that is at hand. It is mirroring versus shaping, or shaping versus mirroring. Now, a lot of advertisers in the past have used this strategy. Now, to mirror is to emulate what you already see, right? So if like you're looking yourself in the mirror and then you see what you are, that is then applicable. But also when you're shaping, you take something and you mold it to what you want it to be. Now, advertisers in their approach for many years have actually used both things. But I think in the most biggest part, they have been using the part of shaping society to what they want them to do so that they can generate more out of us, more out of the consumers, and get us to purchase as many things as possible from their own brand. Now, with shaping, or what it has been done, it is to sometimes when we shape and mirror and talk about that, it is either to reflect our values, our aspirations, the trends, social trends that are happening. It is to also come and target us based on our belief and our desires, as well as what we desire further in our lives or whatever we associate with. And so they've been strategizing, trying to alter as many behaviors as possible related to what we do as consumers and as people. Now, obviously, when you talk about that historically, with the shaping and mirroring, if we can remember that what we know is there was a time when we talk specifically about shaping, when adverts will come on our TV screens and then we believe in what we are seeing and how it emulates, and therefore we go and purchase whatever brand that has been advertised. Now, looking back, maybe I didn't go too far back, but looking at 2015, where there was a shift in the advertising industry, where advertisers were trying their best to become more humane, so more human relatability in terms of what it is that they conveyed and what it is that they put out. Now, back then, I think when I was very young, there used to be cigarette adverts which will also just promote coolness. And if you are a young person, you always want to see that, and how they drive the nicest cars, nicest clothes, but they will be smoking, which is a habit that has, in a way, would affect your health. And also looking at how even fast food companies, they will do and bring about and sell not really the product, but will sell a feeling of what it is you get. So both cool, a feeling that you get, confidence, and then with fast foods they also sell the feeling, and the feeling that they'll sell is happiness. Hence, we even today with McDonald's, we have the Happy Meal. Now, with that moving and times changing, we're seeing a result and seeing what that has become of us, in that there are those dynamics where we are either shaped or we are mirroring what we are. And suffice to say that when we talk about personal branding, I think it's very critical to try and answer the questions very internally of, are you a shaper or are you merely mirroring what you see out there? It's a very interesting question, and I think one that's worthy of tackling. That, are you a shaper or are you mirroring exactly what you see out there? Now, the questions that have to be answered, and what it is that we have to engage on, is that, do you believe in what you bring out? Do you believe in who you are? And what are the beliefs and behaviors around what you do in your own personal brand that detect or that actually bring about what is it that you stand for, or what is it that you are? Are you a shaper or are you a mirror in that particular line of debate? Now, there's various ways that we can actually look at that. I mean, do people actually, do you see yourself in other people, or do people see themselves in you? Or are we all just generic now? Are we just doing what we actually see? Are we all wearing what everyone is wearing? Are we all going to the same place where everyone goes? Are we all doing the same thing in the same way that everyone is doing, but find a way to have a way to personalize it and actually make it our own? That is really just the fundamental debate around it as to what is it that we are doing that actually inspires others to choose to be like us. What is it that we are bringing out to ensure that we actually can generate that particular success in our personal branding? And I think it's a very fundamental question to maintain and to ask and to answer, because it does serve as a guide and it does serve as a way for us to get a path in which we want to grow in terms of our personal branding. Now, with the world having changed so much, you can imagine when you speak about shaping, what is it that actually happens? I mean, with a little bit of research, I found that in the US, just in 2015, advertising spends up to $180 million a year just to get brands and products across. Now you can imagine it's a large country, a large number of people, and so you also want to be number one in whatever sector, whatever industry, whatever product or brand that is out there. So a lot of money is injected, especially in the Super Bowl period, and how people just spend, or brands just spend so much just to get themselves known. I mean, the average American in 2015 would be easily exposed per day to 5,000 adverts. 5,000 a day, I mean, that's a lot. So what in them sets them apart from the others? They have to find a way to communicate to the values that you have, to the personal values that you aspire, whether it be in your desires, your beliefs, values, as well as whatever that you're aspiring to become, whatever it is that you desire to be, whatever lifestyle that you want to have. That's how they speak to you. That's how that is conveyed to you in that way. And that is what we really trying to navigate in terms of that. And I mean, if those stats are true in 2015, when social media was not as prevalent, how crazy are they now? So with my research, social media, just last year, about 4.7 billion people use the internet for social media. Insane. And that how social media allows you to humanize your own brand. So in as much as we are seeing so many things out there, there's also that there's that distinction, or a gap of distinction of what it is that you do for yourself versus how people actually see you, and how you are seen is how people see you, and how you actually convey or portray yourself to everyone. Also, that 65% of people on social media learn about brands. So if that particular brand is so prevalent on social media, 65% of us learn from it on social media as well. And about 79.7 people make their purchases through online and social media adverts. We are always there. And if we're always there, everybody's trying to be distinct. But at the same time, everybody looks the same. Everybody's profile seemingly has a homogeneous effect to it, where it's not too far-fetched or far apart from what it is that it represents, which is very much interesting. So what have brands done now? And in light of all that stats, I'll put the link of the adverts that you can find on YouTube on what Dove has been doing. Dove did a campaign not so long ago, which was #ShowUs. Now, what this advert did, it was portraying all types of women from all kinds of walks of life, and it just indicated that let's just show us, from hair, that no matter how much your hair looks like, even if it's not a weave or whatever, that can be professional. To skin, even if your skin doesn't look the same as others, that is your beauty, your skin, right? It also looked at body structures and body sizes, that it doesn't matter what it is, there is your beauty. So go ahead, show us. It looked at hair, skin. It looked at also disability. It looked at also ageism, that no matter how old you become, it doesn't mean that there's no part of you where you can be sexy, wear a dress and look beautiful. It's all portraying that. And their stats in what they found is that 70% of all advertising and media do not show the true selves, meaning it's not showing who we really are or who women are in that sector or in that segment. It's interesting that people are noticing that even though we buy the products, they're not really truly reflecting who we are. And so with this campaign, they were actually not shaping, they were mirroring what society is actually like and to generate their sales. And also, just one of their stats in one of their quarters is that at some point, Dove generated about $2 billion in sales. But the moment they showed these campaigns of being real, loving yourself, appreciating your own beauty as a woman, then their sales shot up to about $4 billion, which shows that when you position yourself as a brand, when you are your true authentic self, that is exactly what people are looking for. People are not looking for what's already out there. They're looking for something new, something that hasn't been touched on, something that's amazing, something that resonates with its principles and personal attributes and values, but doesn't really have a disconnection of what it speaks about. And that is what is being done by advertisers now. What about you? What are you doing to make sure that you begin the journey of your personal brand to love yourself? What is it that you're doing to actually emulate all the good traits, good or bad, weird, crazy, fun, whatever they may be, they all form part of your brand. It is important that you as an individual, you do not look at any other aspect but for you to just shape people by who you really are, because authenticity really works. It works. The less we become authentic, the more it becomes really here and there of what it is that we actually stand for and what it is that we are as people. It's very important that we love ourselves to that point that we are not taking one for granted or take others for granted for who they truly are. Build your brand in such a way that whatever happens, if anything is lost, the authentic self remains and you remain true to yourself. So obviously I spoke up with all that has been prepared is that there's always, in terms of shaping and mirroring, is that what has been done is that because you can't always shape people, because people really start realizing who they are. And the best thing that you do is to really accept them from a market point of view, to really see what it is that they stand for and who are they as their authentic self. So in mirroring, there's more that has been done. Even Gillette has an advert about focusing on toxic masculinity from men, that men should not, say boys don't cry, boys will be boys, because of what that perpetuates to be. But then, as we've always known, what the tagline of Gillette is that be the best man that you can, or be the best man you can be. Around those, yes, the best a man can get. Sorry, but that in and of itself is that for you to strive to be the best man that you can get, you need to always look at the fundamentals. And they looked at how they can mirror what are the social norms that are out there that maybe people are not happy about, and how they can integrate that with anybody who resonates with a good masculinity and a good not toxic masculinity, but just a good man who can be able to stand in society and represent in the best way possible. So in a nutshell, in this video, I intertwined both conversation about mirroring as well as shaping. But we can have the debate about what do we think we are experiencing now. That on the one hand, we have shaping, where everything around us, from social media right to the end, is trying to make us to be what it is that the world wants us to be. But at the same time, that quietens and deafens the true self that you are. Therefore, you don't care now about being a shaper. You don't care about being an influencer of authenticity, but you care about following the tide and riding the tide or the wave of what people are trying to shape you to be. Whereas your true self is what is being looked at. Whereas we're looking at mirroring how now brands are using user generated content, affluent influencers, people who we follow, like, and bring brands to them and bring paid partnerships. Because if we see these brands with the people that we follow, then we somehow get shaped into liking them a bit more. Whereas at the same time, these people are mirroring what our lifestyles are, what we do, wherever we go, or where we aspire to be. And because there's so much noise in the world, it's very, very much difficult for an individual to be heard. Very difficult for somebody to be understood, appreciated for their authentic self with the brand that they are. So, in a nutshell, we can debate what is it that the world is doing? What is actually the wave right now? Are we shapers, or we mirroring whatever that we are? Or what is it exactly that's going on? But my piece would be, try to be as authentic as possible as a brand. That's what people like. The crazy part of you, the part that loves so greatly, the part that is loud at times. That's the part that people are looking for. So don't be shy, don't hesitate, don't think you are not great because of what is it that you have become or yourself. Focus on that self, build that brand from that premise. And people, in time, in a world where everybody is being shaped, you come up and shine of what the brand you are. So focus on that. Look inside of yourself. Take some things out, prune the bad that you don't want, but let that brand be shaped by you. Let it be shaped by you and your spiritual life and every part of yourself that connects, that truly builds you to be exactly what you want it to be. So my people, all my love and all of that, just be true to yourself. We love that. The world needs truth to who you are, more especially when you yourself are a brand. So love yourself, love others, and we appreciate you just the way you are. All love. Thanks, people.